In a vast assembly, bodhisattvas, gods, monks, beings from countless worlds, a child comes up out of the sea. She is 8 years old. She is a girl, and she is not human. She's a Naga, a dragon, the daughter of a dragon king. And the claim being made about her is this, that she has already grasped the deepest teaching of the Buddhas and is ready, right now, to become a fully awakened Buddha. The room does not take this well. One of the Buddha's most senior disciples, Shariputra, the most learned of them all, turns to her and says, in effect, impossible. You're a child, you're a woman. The path to Buddhahood takes countless lifetimes of practice. It is not for you. What she does next is one of the most extraordinary moments in all of Buddhist scripture. This is from the Lotus Sutra, the scripture we follow here, read through the Chinese Tiantai tradition, and it's the moment the sutra's central promise gets tested at its outer edge. We've said all along, every being will become a Buddha without exception. Fine. But every philosophy sounds generous until you push it to the limit. So the sutra pushes it. It picks the least likely candidate imaginable by the standards of that time and place, and asks, does the promise still hold? Here's how it happens. The Bodhisattva Manjushra, wisdom itself, has been down in the Dragon King's palace beneath the sea, teaching the Lotus Sutra. He returns and is asked, down there, was there anyone who practiced this sutra so completely that they awakened quickly? And Manjushra says, yes. The Dragon King Sagara's daughter, she is 8 years old. He describes her, and it is not faint praise. Her wisdom is sharp. She understands the workings of every living being. She has entered deep meditation and grasped the profound hidden treasury of the Buddha's teaching. In a single instant, she awakened the aspiration for enlightenment and reached the stage from which one never falls back. Her compassion, he says, holds all living beings as a mother holds her own child, and Shariputra objects. Now, it matters who Shariputra is. He isn't a villain, he's the disciple famous for wisdom, the sharpest mind in the room. And his objection isn't personal spite. He's stating what nearly everyone in that world simply assumed to be true. He says this is hard to believe. The path to Buddhahood is long, immeasurable ages of practice, of hardship, of accumulated merit. And then he says the harder part. A woman's body, he says, is impure and not a fit vessel for the Dharma. There are 5 things a woman cannot become, and the 5th is a Buddha. Sit with how brutal that is for a moment, and notice that the Lotus Sutra puts it in the mouth of its most respected disciple, right there on the page in plain view. The sutra is not hiding the prejudice of its world, it's putting it under a spotlight, because it's about to take it apart. The girl doesn't argue, she doesn't make a case, she does something far better. She's wearing a jewel, a single priceless pearl, worth, the text says, as much as an entire world system. She takes it and offers it to the Buddha, and the Buddha accepts it. Then she turns to Shariputra and asks him a question so simple, it's almost playful. That offering, the Buddha accepting my jewel, was it quick? And he has to admit it. Yes, very quick. And she says, then watch. I will become a Buddha faster than that. And in front of the entire assembly, every skeptic in the room, she does. She completes the practices of a bodhisattva, takes her seat on a jeweled lotus, and attains perfect, complete awakening, fully a Buddha. And she begins to teach the Dharma to beings throughout the 10 directions. The whole world trembles. Countless beings in that assembly awaken. And Shariputra, the wisest disciple, who had just explained why this was impossible, says nothing at all. The text is very precise about this. He falls silent. His doubts are simply gone. Now, I have to tell you about a detail in this story because if I skip it, you'll find it later and wonder why I didn't. In the text, at the moment of her awakening, the assembly sees her instantly change into a male body. and then attain Buddhahood. And for many modern readers, that lands like a slap. Wait, so she couldn't do it as herself? The sutra spends this whole scene demolishing the idea that a woman can't become a Buddha, and then, at the last second, it seems to concede the point. I'm not going to explain that away. It's a real tension, and readers have wrestled with it for centuries. Some point out that the transformation happens instantly, in front of everyone, which, in the logic of the story, proves the exact opposite of Shariputra's claim, that these bodily marks are so unfixed, so empty of inherent reality, that they can be set aside like a costume. Others read it as a concession the text made to the assumptions of its own audience, a bridge built for people who would have simply stopped listening otherwise. And some readers are simply not satisfied, and say so. All of those responses are honest ones. Here's what I'd hold on to. The story survived, and what people took from it for 2,000 years across all of East Asia was never, "You must become a man." What they took from it was, she did it. 8 years old, not even human, dismissed by the wisest man in the room. And she did it in an instant in front of everyone who said she couldn't. That's what made her one of the most beloved figures in Chinese Buddhism. Look at almost any statue of Guan Yin in China, and there she is standing at her side. So what is this scene actually arguing? Shariputra's objection rests on two assumptions: that awakening must take an unimaginably long time, and that some kinds of beings are simply the wrong kind. The dragon girl demolishes both in an instant, and as the least likely being in the room. And this is the beating heart of the Tiantai reading. If Buddhahood was something you build, accumulated brick by brick over countless lifetimes, then of course it would take forever, and of course your starting position would matter enormously. But that was never what it is. Buddhahood is what you already are, at the deepest layer. And a thing you already are does not need to be constructed. It only needs to be uncovered, which means it can happen in an instant. And it means your starting position, your age, your body, your species, your history, what the wisest person in the room thinks of you, determines nothing at all. This is why the Tiantai masters loved this chapter. It isn't a nice story about inclusion. It's the proof, dramatized, of what the one vehicle actually claims. There's a reason this scene has moved people for 2,000 years. Almost everyone carries some version of Shariputra's list. The reasons this isn't for you: too late, too flawed, too ordinary, not the right kind of person. Some of those verdicts we inherited from the world around us, some we hand down to ourselves. And the Lotus Sutra's answer isn't to argue with the list. It's an 8-year-old girl offering a jewel saying, "Watch." So far, everything we've seen has been about us, what we are, what we can become. But the Lotus Sutra has one more revelation, and it's about the Buddha himself. Near the end, he tells the assembly that everything they think they know about his life is a kind of stage setting, that he did not, in fact, become a Buddha in this lifetime, under a tree 40 years ago. He tells them he awakened in the unimaginably distant past, and that his death, which they are all dreading, will also be a performance, that he has never actually left and never will. It's the strangest and most beautiful claim in the entire sutra. That's where we'll go next. Until then, take care.